Alright, haulers, hello and welcome back to Farming Simulator 2019 Beaver Creek. You guys will notice here something a little different in front of me. I am at home, just stopped off to grab some lunch. As you can see, it's kind of late afternoon. I've been busy working all day trying to get some stuff cleaned up. And a couple days ago, we actually picked up this beautiful thing. A nice 389 Peterbilt. It does have a moose bumper on the front of it, bull bar, whatever you prefer. As well as some nice Alcoas, stuff like that. Really nice truck, and we picked up a used flatbed with it. Both the truck and the trailer are used. Not extensively, but they're both nice pieces of equipment. They both used to belong to one of the port services, actually, and they were doing a bunch of stuff and selling that off. So we picked up these two things. And as you can see, it is loaded up. I have been very, very busy at the sawmill trying to get some stuff sorted out because we have a couple of things that we need to do. Obviously, we're still working to clear out a bunch of that area for trees so that we can put in the new buildings. But in addition to that, I'm trying to also put in new storage so that we can start actually processing logs as logs and selling them as logs rather than selling everything processed, as well as we are now to the point where we're making an excess of wood chips, so we don't really need our chipper anymore, so we might look at selling that as well. At the very least, we need to start looking at storage. Now, we are going to be heading down to the sell point today, so we're going to go ahead and jump in the truck and get started with that. Alright, got her started up here. We should be good to roll, so we're going to go ahead and start doing that. We'll make our way out here. Some of you guys will probably be wondering why I've got the trailer loaded so high. We're in the woods, doesn't matter how high we actually load everything up, so we're in good shape. Just need to be careful here and make sure I don't tip it over. And I did have enough space that I threw an extra thing of sawed wood on the back. We are actually going to be making a few trips today, back and forth. I'd like to sell this main load with the lawn boards on it, and then I'd like to come back and sell 2 more loads of cut up, no, I want to say firewood, I guess. It'd be firewood, rough wood, which would be awesome. We are going to have to be careful here coming across. There is a little dry riverbed on the other side we have to worry about too, but I would like to show you guys that too, because at some point I would love to come through and actually clear out all the dead trees. You can see here it's pretty well dried out, everything's pretty dead in there. So I would love to come through at some point and actually be able to cut all those down. As you can see, though this truck is able to handle a lot more, it is still a little bit strained coming through here. But we do have a surprise waiting for us at the actual port. Most of you guys will probably, well, I guess it's not really going to be a surprise since I have an idea of what it is. But most of you guys will know I left off last time saying that I needed some kind of palletized movable storage so that I could put all my implements and stuff up on storage. Well, it turns out the guy at the port was able to find us someone who actually has it, so I was able to order some through him, and if need be we can order more. So today we're actually going to be picking up, I think it's, I want to say 5 different pallets worth of different storage units. And most of them, I think there's 2 of them that are super large storage units and 3 smaller ones so that we can put those and save those for another point. But one of our big tasks today, as well as doing the loads, is going to be, we're actually going to be going and setting everything up for winter in terms of equipment. Obviously, it's still the middle of summer, but when winter hits, it's going to hit us hard. So I'd like to prepare as soon as I can to actually get to a point where all of our equipment can be put away. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our way down there, pick up that stuff, and I'll see you guys there. Alright, and we are here. We've already done all of our weigh-in and stuff, and already sold all of our product. And we made a cool 206, well, around 200,000, 204,000, I think. So hopefully we'll bring in some big money today. That would be awesome. Prices are up, so we're doing really good with exports. But you can see here they've got the forklift out. They're going to come load us up. We've got here in the back the 2 large sets and then 4 sets of a much smaller size rack that we can actually kind of place as we need to. So I'm very excited. We're going to let them load us up and we're going to head back, and I will see you guys once we are back at the, well, I guess we'll head to the shop first. Yeah, what we'll have to do is we'll have to head to the workshop first, drop all this stuff off, and then we'll go from there and finish our 2 to 3 other trips today, unloading that stuff, and go from there. Alright, we have just arrived back here. You can see just how much product we have to sell now. It's been very busy the last few days getting stuff up and going. But we have arrived back. The truck is currently parked over there. And we're on our way right now to go unload it, get those racks put in. I've decided that instead of waiting and trying to organize this stuff at the end of the day, it would make more sense to get all the organization done right now so that I can focus on some other things that need to happen today. I'd like to start cutting in an area that we need to start adding in new roads because that specific truck coming in is very difficult on some of these tighter turns, so I'd like to put in an easier exit to this facility. You can see there the racks on the back of the truck. I actually need to hop out and take the straps off real quick, so we will do that. Let's jump out here. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. So what we should do here, I want to take a look inside. I would like to get as much equipment indoors as I possibly can. As of this moment, let me take a look here and see what I think we need to do. Alright, so I've got everything open. I've been kind of looking and thinking what we want to do. Because obviously, if I'm going to get everything in this winter so it's out of the weather, I have to worry about a few pieces of equipment that we're not actually really using. The John Deere really isn't being used for much of anything. The nice thing about that is there's only a few little pieces that we can store some other way if need be. The dump truck we're starting to use now, which I will show you guys. For whatever reason, I'm like tripping over everything. You can see right here, we've already started filling this bay. This bay is actually intended to be where our extra wood chip storage is, so they stay nice and dry. Obviously, we have to be careful about that with the vehicles, because obviously we don't want to start a fire, but we have a good suppression system in here, so we should be fine. However, I do kind of have this space here that if I want to, I could make it long-term storage and put some stuff in there. I'd prefer not to, if possible, but I guess the first step before I actually go unloading the truck is we need to take everything out of here and get it all moved so that we can actually set up the racks where we need to. So I'm actually going to shut this thing off, pull all of the equipment out, and then we'll be back in just a minute. Alright, and there we go. So you can see I've put the 2 large racks, one on each side. This one over here is kind of perfect because it fits nice and neat in that little area here. And then this one over here, but I think having the amount of storage we have in here is going to be more than enough, so I decided to put the rest of it up top for right now. In case we need it later, we can always grab it back down. So, now I have to figure out the Tetris puzzle that is getting all of the equipment back in here, plus everything else that I wanted to move in here that is currently outside. I'd like to bring my trailer in, preferably. I think what we'll do too is while we have it hooked up, we will actually bring it over and fuel up the equipment that's over on the other end and go from there on that. But yeah, overall I'm pretty pleased with it. I think what I want to do right now is let's see if we can put some of the JCB equipment up here, maybe in the front. We might be able to squeeze the thing right in perfectly. We can probably use up the first 2 bays for equipment for that. You can see here, I actually have the forks in the bucket. We're really not going to be using either of those. So what we'll probably do is put those up together. We'll go ahead and jump here inside, get her started up, and see if we can't get some of this stuff put up inside. Honestly, I think that racking fits in perfectly, so props to the guy that we were able to get that from. That looks just fantastic. And it's nice to have that. I'd like eventually, too, to get a portable spraying unit, power washer, that I could actually use. Man, it's so hard to see inside this thing when you got the bucket on the front of it. But what I'm going to do is see about getting some of this stuff put up, and then we will come back in just a few minutes. Alright, and as you can see, I've got everything put away back inside. Everything is nice and compact now. It's really, really nice having all this storage up top. Technically, I don't even really need this other set. I'm going to keep it up just in case I find a use for it, because you never know what I might pick up in between now and winter time. But we've got enough space here that we can get everything in. On the other side, I have put the chipper. I wonder if we can see the top of it. Yeah, you can see the tippy top of that chipper is in the other bay, just temporarily, until I can find a better space for it. I do have both trailers and stuff pulled out. Everything that is movable is in here, except I do have the bucket for the actual telehandler, as well as both forestry machines are actually over at the sawmill. So, obviously they're not in there. And obviously the feller buncher will not fit inside this machine hull. There's no way because the boom is too high. So that's not really an issue anyways. But you can see here, I did find a way to get all the skid steer stuff up on the racking here. The bucket actually happens to be exactly as wide as the, or I guess deep as the shelving is. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. But while I have the trailers hooked up, I actually want to take this diesel over and fill up the telehandler, the feller buncher and stuff. And then once we come back, we can actually park up the trailer and grab both the telehandler and the actually, you know what? Before I do go anywheres, I want to shut the door. Whoops. So we'll shut all the doors here real quick while we're over there doing that. But then when we get back, we'll grab the telehandler as well as the flatbed so that we can take a couple more loads over. And then hopefully, if maybe we have some time, I'd like to head to the store and see about other equipment we might look at purchasing here soon, as well as, oh, what was it? I really need to look at putting in some sort of plan for the roads that we're going to be building. I know I've discussed it a few times, but I'd like to build in an easier road to come out across this bridge here. Obviously, I don't use it as much as the other one, but it would be nice to have some kind of road connection here that came straight out instead of going on that harsh curve, because the trailer likes to get caught there. So thankfully we got through this time, but what I'm going to do is we'll come up here, nice and easy, and we're going to go fill up both of these pieces of equipment, hopefully, and we'll see how much that takes up, see how much we have left in terms of for barrels. That way we know how much we'll have to actually pick up, and then we'll go from there. But here we are. Everything's nice and put away to the side here. Well, you guys are probably confused because it's actually a day later now, but after a ton of just heartbreak and failure trying to use the telehandler to load the new trailer, I decided yesterday I broke, and I decided to go buy us something to help us out. So we now actually have a proper sit-down forklift to kind of help us out here. We did get it with some doubles and adjustable forks and stuff like that. And we're trying out a new loading method, loading off of that kind of dock there. Obviously, it's not meant to be a dock. It's kind of the space where everything gets output, but it kind of works out. It's kind of the right height for the trailer, so I've been using it. That was dented before I got here, I promise. Only downside is that this thing's here. If I had a say in it, I wish, at least with this sawmill, that was actually, like, if we had a wall here, would be perfect, like a little LCD wall or something, or that was mounted kind of down underneath, but that's okay. We can always come back and change some of this stuff later, but you can see here, I've already tried loading one on. That was actually delivered this morning. Shout out to the port crew. They actually delivered the forklift to me this morning, and so I've been racing around in it, trying it out, and the only downside to having the new lift is that it's actually completely different from what I'm used to. We're actually going to jump in here. And there we go. It's actually very different from what I'm used to, so it's taking a lot of adjustment to actually understand how it functions and stuff, and that sort of thing. It's a lot slower than the actual telehandler, and obviously we don't have the height on it. I guess we can actually get a different set of, a different telescoping attachment for it that's actually taller, so if we wanted to, we could make it taller, but I'm not really interested in that yet. We'll lower that, see if we can't pick this thing up. The only downside as well is that with the materials that we're actually carrying, it's a little hard to see out of, but that's okay. It is a sit-down lift, of course, so it's never really super easy to see out of. But what we're going to do is we're going to try and see if we can't make this work today, and go from there.
You say you trust me. You say you just need time to figure me out. When you fix the pieces, you can slowly breathe right in and tell me where you are. I know you're scared of going deeper, underestimating my heart, breaking down whenever we touch. Oh, nah, nah, nah. Put my hands upon your shoulder. I feel the pain that I can alter. Still I never wanna change ya. Swear I'm not trying to be rude. It's best for you. Swear I'm not trying to be rude. It's best for you. Swear I'm not trying to be rude. It's best for you. Swear I'm not trying to be rude. It's best for you. Head on my chest, heartbeat from my head. Why are you feeling this way? Don't break the silence. Every time that you breathe, my fear starts to decay. I know you're scared of going deeper, underestimating my heart, breaking down whenever we touch. Oh na na na. Put my hands upon your shoulder. I feel the pain that I can alter. Still I never wanna change ya. Swear I'm not trying to be rude. It's best for you. Swear I'm not trying to be rude. It's best for you. Swear I'm not trying to be rude. It's best for you. Swear I'm not trying to be rude. It's best for you. Swear I'm not trying to be rude. It's best for you. Swear I'm not trying to be rude. It's best for you.
Alright, well, some of you might notice it's actually the next day. Had a full day of just one thing after another, but we managed to get everything loaded up and sold. We've sold all of our firewood. We have not sold, or at least our split wood. We have not sold all of our planks and stuff like that yet, but we will do that another time. We made about 1.3 million in total off of that, which was awesome. And it turns out that one of the landowners stopped by. We actually have 3 main landowners that I'll show you guys real quick here on the map. But as you can see here, we've got three main landowners. First of all, the farm owner, who owns this big portion here, as well as this portion here. He owns all this area up in the mountain and this stuff off to the side. You've got the, whatchamacallit, the dude that owned the sawmill and portions of up here and owns all of this industry down here. So he was not only managing the sawmill itself, he was also in charge of the sales and export and stuff like that. But of course, we bought the sawmill from him, and he still owns this area down here. And then the last landowner is actually the not necessarily town, but I guess in this case, the state or whatever, which owns all the other miscellaneous land that we're actually working with. And the hardest thing, the thing that we were most concerned about was actually being able to buy the farmland and stuff. We actually were able to, I mean, here's how it played out. So it actually turned out after we got done yesterday, the farm owner stopped in to see how the the summer house that we've been in was working out and stuff like that. And we were able to convince him to let us buy this property over here. So we now own basically this whole upper section on this side. And we discussed potential of buying the farmland, but as of right now, he's not interested in selling it. So hopefully we'll be able to get that at another point in time. But that means we now own all the land that we need to over there to actually... We can either bulldoze the house, put something new there, which I don't really want to do. I'm not really interested in that. But that means that we now also own that field that's across the way, and we can do more with it. We can actually modify the areas over there, which is awesome. But that's not what we need to do now. What I would like to do today is start cutting the new road. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up here in the UTV and actually run down to the feather buncher here. So we'll go ahead and start this up. You can see I've put everything away. I brought all the equipment up here, including the skidder, cleaned it, put everything where it needs to be, and fueled it up and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it's just a full day of one thing after another, but we'll come down and take a look here. Now, obviously, the main goal here is to build a road that comes out from the bridge at a more straight way instead of curving to the left so hard. And the reason we're doing that is so that we can get equipment down easier. You can see here I've got the feather buncher down here, and what I'll probably end up doing is time-lapsing the work. So we'll jump in and actually cut through, but I want to jump out here and show you guys. I'm actually going to come up here so I don't get this thing stuck while I'm trying to park it. And we're going to actually back in here. That should be fine there. We'll actually jump out. Now, the game plan here is, you can kind of see it in there. There's that kind of rock face. What I would like to do is start by cutting straight this way, going kind of straight into the woods in this direction, and hopefully we'll miss that rock area, kind of go to the left side of it. Either way, we can replant trees, so we're going to cut down more than we need to. And that will cut us a main entrance out straight, and then what we'll do is from there, we're actually going to cut in a new entrance over to the storage facility. Oh my god, my breath. I don't know what it is. I'm having a hard time breathing tonight, but what we'll do is we'll go ahead, jump in, get that stuff done, and I'll talk to you guys in just a few.
It was a nightmare.
Alright, and there we go. So I've got a very primitive little road cut in here using the blade on the skidder. You can see here I haven't gotten all of the what's it called, stumps yet. I think I am actually going to be cutting closer to the right side there. I'm going to cut more of those trees out, see if maybe we can't square out the road a little bit longer. It looks like the stone is right about here. So I might come out to this side as close as I can to the stone without actually going on it. So maybe we'll extend out. That way it's a smoother curve onto the road. Either way, this is a huge start. And we can come back always and clean this up if we need to. But it's going to be a lot more work getting these logs actually out of here because I can't just bring them across the bridge and dump them into the water. And that's because the actual, the actual turn to dump them into the feeding portion of the sawmill is too much. The only other two options I have are to cut them up and haul them in tiny pieces using the flatbed, something like that, or to potentially buy a grapple or a processor for the front of that machine there, the John Deere, and actually cut up, process the logs, and haul them in smaller pieces, which would also mean I'd have to probably get a trailer to actually haul the logs with, which I've already been debating on, and we got a pretty nice paycheck from all that wood, so I might look at just doing that. We do have 716,233, but if I do that, that will be next time. That's going to go ahead and do it for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you didn't, you know what to do. If you really, really liked it, please consider subscribing, and you can always hit that notification bell and get notified every single time I upload. In the description down below, you can find links to my Discord if you'd like to join and hang out with the crew, to my Patreon if you'd like to support me further, and to my social media, or you can find me on social media at LonghaulerGMG on Snapchat, Twitter, and Insta. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Peace.